Hello everyone, I'm Benji, the maintainer of PostGraphile. Getting started with PostGraphile is quick and easy. First, we'll install PostGraphile with npm. Once PostGraphile is installed, we'll need to create a database for PostGraphile to connect to. We'll use the createdb command for this. We're going to be following the forum example, so we'll name our database forum. Now we'll start PostGraphile, giving it a standard Postgres connection string connecting to our new database. We're adding the watch flag so that PostGraphile will automatically update when the database changes. Now we can open this URL in a browser. This is GraphiQL, a common interface used for communicating with GraphQL servers. It has a doc browser on the right-hand side that we can use to explore our schema. In our case, the schema is almost empty because we don't have anything in our database yet. Let's fix that. First, we're going to connect to our database using the PSQL command and the same connection string that we gave to PostGraphile. We're probably going to need to do authentication at some point, so let's install the pgcrypto extension. We can see that PostGraphile has automatically detected these changes to the database and reflected them in the documentation browser. Let's load a couple more extensions that we might need: UUIDs and case-insensitive text. By default, extensions install helpers into the public schema in Postgres. You can see we have a lot of things here that we don't really want in our GraphQL API. Let's create an alternative schema to put our application in. I prefer to name my schema apppublic. Now let's tell PostGraphile to use the apppublic schema. And because we've restarted PostGraphile, we must reload the browser. Now we've got our nice clean schema back, but if we want to create things in this new schema, we'll need to prefix everything with app_public. To save time and typing, let's tell Postgres to look for things in the apppublic schema first. Great, now let's create our first table. We're going to create a users table. And let's insert some users into the table. Now we can browse this data in GraphiQL. Creating the users table has resulted in a number of fields being added to the schema. The all users field will return all users in our database. The user by ID field will look up an individual user by their ID. User by username will look up an individual user by their username. And the user field uses a node ID to look up the user. Node ID is a globally unique identifier used to locate any node within our schema. Let's pull down all the users in our database. And now let's look up Bob directly using his username. We can also use the node ID field to look up Bob in the database. PostGraphile will automatically add a number of CRUD mutations for us, such as create user, update user by node ID, ID or username, and delete user by node ID, ID or username. We'll hear more about these later.